Hi everyone, I'm Pat Prokop and this is What's Up and What's Down, Episode 2. Now, I have my NASA cap on and I also have my new James Webb Space Telescope coffee mug, and I'm ready to talk about the Space Telescope. Yeah, everybody's talking about the James Webb Space Telescope. Final alignment has been achieved on the scope, and the first test image has the team ecstatic with the resolution. The scope is performing beyond pre-launch expectation. This first image, centered on a faint star, shows it as extremely bright. More importantly, though, are those specks of light dotting the image. A closer inspection reveals that they are galaxies billions of light years away. The telescope's near-infrared camera sees light in the red and the infrared wavelengths, making this image appear reddish-orange in color. Converting it to shades of gray enhances those distant galaxies. Images from this telescope that takes minutes to hours to expose would take the Hubble Space Telescope days or weeks to see the same thing, and that at lower resolution. With the completion of this alignment, the Webb team will align the telescope to include the other instruments, the near-infrared spectrograph, the mid-infrared instrument, and the fine guidance sensor near-infrared imager slitless spectrograph. This will take a couple of months of fine-tuning, and once that is done, the telescope will be ready for scientific research, perhaps 20 years of research. What's up with the planets? Well, our heavenly neighbors are stacking up in the morning skies, now with Venus leading the pack, rising more than 3 hours before the Sun. This is the greatest eastern elongation for Venus, being about 47 degrees of arc away from the Sun in the sky. Venus is shining brilliantly at a magnitude of -4.4, making it the third brightest object in the sky, only to be outshone by, can you guess it? The Sun and the Moon, right? Right next to Venus in the sky is the ruddy red planet Mars. Even though they appear next to each other in the sky, they are actually more than 100 million miles apart. Joining the duel is Mercury, Saturn, Neptune, and Jupiter, all much dimmer than the other two. Meanwhile, we just passed the full warm moon of March, so-called because this is the time of the year when our friendly little earthworms begin to wake up from their winter sleep and begin stirring in the soil, doing their thing. But this isn't the Paschal moon, since it was full before the vernal equinox, which is today, March 20th, 2022. That occurred at 3:33 p.m. Universal Time, or 11:33 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That is the time the apparent position of the Sun crossed the equator, moving northward. This is the day that the Sun rises due east and sets due west. And by the way, there is no connection to this event with the ability to balance an egg on a table. Let's see. I have an egg. Here's an egg. Can I balance this? Let's see. No. Today's the first day of spring. It should balance. No. I can try this all day. I don't think it'll work. It has nothing to do with the vernal equinox. It has all to do with skill, I suppose, which I don't have. Anyway, can anybody balance an egg? Since the full moon occurred before the spring equinox, we will need to wait until the next full moon to determine the date for Easter Sunday. The early Catholic Church dictated that Easter Sunday will always fall on the first Sunday after the first full moon after the vernal equinox. So see, the day was the vernal equinox, so we have to wait for the next full moon. That won't be until what, April 16th, I believe. Nowadays, we can calculate with precision down to the second when the apparent position of the Sun crosses the equator. But back then, the powers that be set it at March 21st. That's it. No discussion. So this year, the Paschal full moon will be on Saturday, April 16th. So the date for Easter will be the next Sunday, which is the next day in this case. So Easter Sunday this year will be April 17th. However, the Greek Orthodox Church says, no, we don't use the Gregorian calendar. We use the Julian calendar. So they'll have to wait an additional week, April 24th, for their Easter observance. For the Jewish faith, Passover will be also dictated by the April 16th full moon, as Passover will begin at sunset Friday, April 15th. Speaking of the sun has been quite active with several solar flares lately. I took a few pictures of the sun. I used this special solar filter right here with my telescope so I can take pictures of the sun. And a few of those pictures show solar storms generating these giant flares. Now, the sunspots look small, but in fact, in reality, those little spots, they're larger than the planet Earth. Up in the sky, it's time to say goodbye to our friend, the Orion Nebula, the beautiful nebula in its belt. And it's now fading into the western twilight. It will soon be gone for the season. But never fear, it will reappear come along October and November. I took this picture just the other night of the Orion Nebula. What's down? Well, my vegetable garden is down. It was bit severely by a late season freeze on March 13th. That's late for us here in Savannah. But overall, most of the vegetation did survive, only stunting their growth for a week or so. What else is down? Well, my large Celestron 11-inch Edge HD telescope. Well, the telescope's all right, but I sent the heavy-duty CGX mount, all 56 pounds of it, and that doesn't include the counterweights, to be serviced in California at Celestron. The mount has been serviced, fixed up, spruced up, and returned, and now looks better than new. I'm setting it back up and aligning it, and will soon start looking at the many galaxies that are viewable now in the nighttime skies. Remember, the heavens are filled with majestic glories, all in a sky near you. So go outside, look up at the stars, and then look. Clear skies, everyone. Joe Navarro, Glenn Clowder, you see the cap, don't you? But do you have the cup?